Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers, let's go.
And welcome back to Can Crushers! Yeah.
Hello!
There he is. There he is. Sir Michael Jenks, Mark the Mark Martinez. We are back after a healthy Easter. Jenks, did you eat a lot, first off? I told you I was going to push your buttons, but I do want to at least know about your Easter and how much you ate.
Yeah, it was not healthy at all. The stuff was sugar-filled. But I'm okay with that because I haven't had it for 40 days. So this was a sugar binge week, and I'm going to be off the trails now. But yeah, it was a good week. Nothing too crazy going on. The current debate is whether I want to get a hoodie or a t-shirt for FTR. We'll see what that leads to. But how was your week?
That's it? I wanted to know about your hams, your yams, your...
You want to know more about... Okay, so the ham was great.
What did you make, first off?
I actually went to our friendly farmers market that we have here, purchased some fresh made rolls, some breads, and some treats for it, as well as purchasing a lot of candy for it. My sisters decided to make all the food, and my mom made the ham, so I was kind of had left with the dinner rolls this week. So you can bust my chops about that if you want.
No, I wasn't. No, because I showed up with a 30-pack of PBR and some candy as well. That was it. I'm not knocking you for it.
We did have an adult Easter egg hunt. So there were 6 Easter eggs hidden around my mom's house, and they each contained a note. The note either said can or bottle. So you either got a can of wine or you got a bottle of booze.
A can of wine? Wait a minute.
Or it was a ball of booze. So they make...
What wine comes in cans?
So there's sangria wine from one of the local wineries around Erie, parts unknown, that puts the wine in the cans, and it's like an 8-ounce can, and you can just take those.
Wow.
They sell them in like 6-packs and that. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Not for us, though. But
no, it went pretty quick. But yeah, or you could get a boozy ball, which is just basically, it's a different flavor. And I think the ones I got was like apple and a strawberry one.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
So Mom was a happy Easter bunny.
It was, yeah. Very happy Easter bunny. Mom knows her kids too well. So
clearly.
Yeah. My one sister missed out because she was a little late for the festivities, so she didn't get any. But that's her fault. But yeah. So
Did you double up then? Or triple up?
I walked away with 4.
You son of a bitch. Good for you.
That's how you do it, Mike. That is how you do it.
That is how you do it. You probably had all 6 and you just felt bad. So you just gave 2 away.
No. My sister picked up the other 2.
Okay.
One of my sisters picked up the other 2 on hers. I should mention, though, I did celebrate a little bit of Easter in the lady friend's birthday, Kimberly. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on Monday, so we celebrated after she got home from her long stay in Puerto Rico. So, yeah, which was fun.
See, you were like, I just had a good Easter. You had a great Easter. Jeez.
I did have a great Easter. I don't like to play it up that much.
Yeah, but you have to. We were off for a week. You were off for a week. So
I'm not in my groove yet, Mark. You gotta let me get there. But yeah, it was a great Easter. Good Easter. Solid week. I'm trying to think. No, yeah, now I'm just in the landscaping mode and trying to figure out what I need to get for my house.
Oh, that brings it right back down to death.
Yeah. So I got I got 35 bags of mulch. They were $2 a piece at Lowe's, and then now I need to get dirt to level off some of the patches so I can fill it in with mulch.
Are you doing that today?
No, God no. It's a balmy 71 already up here. Well, in south part's unknown. So now, once I get home, it's probably going to be about 80, but I think that's going to be during the week.
Yeah.
Just getting stuff done.
See, that's what I like to do too. Like, I know my grass needs cut, and we still have some of winter in our yard. It's not happening today. It's not, because I don't like doing it on the weekend. Like, I'll come home at 1 o'clock from work, and that's when I'll deep dive into it. I'll rake the yard, I'll get the landmines that we've missed out, and then I'll cut the grass. Like, I don't want to do that type of work on weekends. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, you're going to probably deep dive and have mulch up to your ass one of these weekends, but yeah.
Well, and I usually do it on the weekend. I like doing it like Saturday morning or Sunday morning, because you get it done by the afternoon, then you're free in the afternoon.
Right.
With the lady friend now, we only see each other in the weekend, so I'm trying to do more of that stuff during the week so I can take advantage of that time we have together on the weekends. So, so a lot of that's going to be like when I get out of work at 4:30, 5 o'clock every night, doing it for a couple hours, and then that's about it. I'm just going to have to do a little bit at a time. What's unfortunate about my yard is it's kind of in a hill, bottom of the hill, not in the bottom of the hill area, so there's still runoff coming down. So my backyard is a complete
cesspool.
It's a cesspool right now. So, but to that point, I'm going to be shutting it down, closing it for the next 2 months, because I'm going to grass seed it. I'm going to let a concrete pad, and then I got to stay in the deck in that for summer. So the dog's not allowed out there probably after today.
Wow, big changes to the Jenks estate.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of it. I've made a whole whiteboard at my house with things I have to get done or I want to get done.
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, you remember this. So it's that time of year. Got to get it done. Got to get it on. But
got to get it on. And South Park's unknown.
Unknown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get it on.
Get it on. What's up with you? How was your Easter? How was everything with you these past couple weeks?
Good. Really, really good. Did the Easters, the mother-in-laws didn't have to do anything there. Just showed up and ate like a pig that I am. And then rolled up to Dad's with I'm like, what do you want to bring? He's like, well, I'm kind of short on beer. So I got a 30 rack of PBR again. Went up there and we plowed through that. Not all of it, but, that's on a Sunday.
25.
Yeah, 25 of them. He's got 5 for the next couple days. Normally don't drink on Sundays because I don't want to feel like a bag of garbage on Monday when I go to work because,
right.
Those last, once you hit 40, they last for a whole week. And it was rough on Monday. But otherwise, work has been work. And, got a few things in the hopper that can't disclose right now. That could be changing the outlook of everything, which is really cool. But I got a new present for myself this week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What did you get?
I saw it on the old interweb on Thursday, I believe. No, on Wednesday. Yeah, no, I don't know when the hell but this past week. I ordered it, and I thought, this is going to probably be a week before it gets here. And the next day, and I didn't even pay for next day shipping, because I was asked by my wife, holy shit, did you pay for it? I did not. Jenks, I got the Big League Chew hat from...
You did.
I did. These are fucking amazing. First off and foremost, I hope you're jealous. There were so many. There were so many that I liked. My favorite one was the blue one with the pink, and I believe that's like the raspberry Big League Chew hat. Of course, I got Detroit. My fat head they didn't make that in my size. It was already out. So I went with the sour apple one. It's the green with the purple D.
Yeah.
This is definitely my favorite hat. The online does not do justice of the colors. Like when Kelly came home and it was sitting on the kitchen table because it's a prized possession now, so it's got to sit there and glow for a little bit. She's like, I really didn't like the picture online, but she's like, this is really cool. And you actually get a Big League Chew pin with it, which I take off. I'm not going to wear a pin on my hat. I'm not that guy. But I took the pin off and put it by my millions of bobbleheads. But the hat's on my head right now. I do love this hat. It's just a different spin. It's got the Big League Chew logo on the side of it. Yeah, it's baseball season. It really is. This week's baseball really connected with me for a couple reasons. One, because of Miggy, and two, because of something that happened yesterday that we're going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Miggy connected for 3,000 on, what day was that, Thursday?
Oh,
Friday?
it was yesterday as well because he got rained out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. 33rd player ever to get 3,000 hits. Only the 7 to have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. And when he hits his next double, he will be the 3rd member to have 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and 600 doubles. Can you tell me the other 2 players on that list, Jenks?
That have, okay, say those stats again.
3,000 hits, 500 or more home runs, and 600 doubles.
Barry on that list? Barry Bonds?
Yes.
Okay. 500 home runs? I want to say, does Mays have 500?
He does, but
it's not him.
Not him. Older.
Older? Like, way older?
Yeah. Like he held a record for a long time.
Is it Babe? Or is it Maris?
It's Aaron.
Oh, Hank Aaron. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, the other one. Okay. Damn. That's an unbelievable stat. I didn't realize he was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll ask you this, and then we will get to wrestling, because we have a lot to cover, but we haven't talked in a while. Jenks, do you see anybody else getting 3,000 in the next 10 years?
You know, I saw you posted the list online, and I got to look at it again. But if I'm thinking outside the box, maybe Trout, and it's not even outside the box, maybe Mike Trout. Freeman was kind of on that trending upward path. Outside of those guys, I don't know, man. That's such a tough list. I'm looking at the list now. Because you want to look at some people that are younger, in their 30s.
Right.
And really, I feel like Freeman and I feel like Trout are your best options for that right now.
But
I don't know.
I'm gonna stir the pot.
Who are you gonna go with?
Well, I'm not gonna go with anybody on that list. I really am not. Out of the 30 that are posted, well, actually 28. Out of the 28 that are posted, I don't know if I'm gonna go with any, because the longevity of baseball isn't there. Mike Trout has been in the league, and I know this is gonna blow our minds, 10 years now. It feels like he's still a rookie to some of us.
Yeah.
He's at what, 1,700, I believe, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's only at 14.
Okay,
in the list you posted. Yeah.
Okay, so and that's from Baseball Reference, the true list of so he's at 1,400 with 10 years, and at the age of 30, is he going? I know he might not be in his prime. There's been injuries, so even if he gets 1,400 more in the next 10 years, all right. He's at 2,800, and he's 40 now. I mean, yeah, I don't know. They don't play as many games. There's still 162 games in a year, but they don't consistently play. Like, they ask to sit out a game, or they have a scheduled day off.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to see 3,000 again.
If you are, you're probably right. I mean, if I'm looking at this list now, Freeman, 32 years old, 1,700 hits, but then again, you play the math game on that. He's probably going to come up short.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to consistently take it to another level, which does not happen.
They're going to have to average over 200 hits a year
going forward.
Yeah. My one buddy said Joey Votto. Yeah, if he wasn't 38 and he didn't have to hit 200 hits for the next 5 years.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it, because he's at 20.
Then he's 43. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cano is 39, but at 2,600. There's no way he's getting that.
No. And I know the NL has the DH now, so he can sit with the Mets for the next 5 years, but I don't know if he's got 20 hits this year.
Yeah, I don't know if he does.
So, yeah. This might be the last time we see it. Some of these numbers in baseball, more and more, are the records that are set are going to not be broken. And I know I said that completely wrong, but
yeah,
nobody's ever touching Cal Ripken's. Ever.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Nobody's ever going to touch Nolan Ryan's. Any of the ones Nolan Ryan has.
Yeah.
And in stolen bases, Ricky Henderson had more in 1 year than 3 teams did last year combined.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I could make the point that the league's moving away from that too in some capacities. I mean, it's become the big bomb game now, and you're not hitting multiple home runs a game, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, to that point, I agree with your logic on this, so I'm going to go back and say it would have to be a rookie this year, and they'd have to start averaging 150 to 200 home runs now.
So we're saying Torkelson in 20 years. And that's just because he's just a rookie, and I don't know the other rookies offhand.
But then let's go off of that. How old Torkelson? Because I don't even know off the top of my head.
23, I think.
See, is he behind the 8 ball then?
Right.
Because he's already down. He might have 17 years in his bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to start when you're 20 and start hitting these bombs and start hitting these balls. But
yeah, I completely agree. I don't know. It's not about, and it's so cool. I didn't know this stat, and then literally this will be the last one. I knew Miggy's first at bat was a home run when he first came up in the league. Boom, first at bat ever, home run, first hit. 1000s hit, home run. 2000s hit, home run. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about 1000 and 2000 being home runs. I'm kind of pissed that 3000 wasn't a home run either, but
that would have been a nice trend.
Right? He took it to the opposite field, and he put the Tigers up 2-0, so I'm all right with that. Big win yesterday for the Tigers in game number 1. Bad loss in game number 2.
Well, that happens.
Yeah. You're a Tigers fan. It happens. Unlike the Pirates that lost 3 touchdowns to nothing yesterday.
That was to the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Pirates Twitter account posted, you've seen the meme with the car speeding into the exit, right?
Yes.
They put posting today's score, not posting today's score, put that meme on it. And that's what they did for what happened yesterday to them. I'm like, well, that was smart. I mean, I guess you can see that you lost 21-0 elsewhere, but
right. It's like I was pitching.
Great baseball. Yeah, right. Such a great baseball stadium going to waste with that team sometimes. Yeah. Most times. 2013 and 2014 was your peak.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. And finally, and I really mean this finally, the Yankee fans are classy.
Oh, they're just a classy bunch of people.
I don't care what was said or what was done or what was whatever. Throwing stuff. I mean, now the Yankees fan look like Philly fans. Don't throw shit at players, dudes. Dudettes. Little dudes. Little dudettes. It's horrible. It really is.
It's trash.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Because it's just trash. There's no reason for it. You're not accomplishing anything by it. You're just proving that you're, once again, the worst fan base in Major League Baseball. And that's coming from an AL East rival fan. So take that with the grain of salt you want. But Yankee fans are just unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Do you have any, before we deep dive into each company for the last 2 weeks, do you have any hot topics that you want to bring up?
Hot topics, man. How about, what was going on with that Cardona here this past weekend? I saw him and a little kid get into it. Did you see that clip?
I did see that, and I really didn't roll into it because I was on the fence last night if I was going to buy Impact Rebellion, and I didn't see that they were scheduled. All right, yeah. I saw the Alexander, which, by the way, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, he beat Moose for the title. I'm not sure if any other titles changed hands, but yeah. So I looked at the card. I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing Alexander. I don't see the Cardona clan, the Impact players, or the major players, or whatever the hell they're called. Well, essentially Chelsea was scheduled. So I'm like, I'm not going to get it. I'll just get the spoilers later. And then I woke up this morning and I see, this whole Cardona and the kid going at it. And I'm like, what the hell? Holy shit. And then the dogs had to go out. And then it was time to do the podcast. So I slept in this morning, Jenks. That was pretty nice, cool. Though. Yeah.
I was still up at 6. So I didn't get that. I saw that early this morning. And I'm like, what is happening anymore in professional wrestling?
I know.
But, it just goes back. I mean, as long as you can bring them in there and do it safely, that's fine. I can't say it's the craziest thing. I mean, I've seen, who is it? Was it Ibushi that faced a blow-up doll? I know Omega did too.
Yeah.
And he wrestled a mop. So, I mean, there's crazier things that have happened, but I don't know. That was the one that caught me off guard that comes to mind right now.
Yeah, that's essentially, that's about it. Because the rest of the things, like the New Japan and everything, we'll talk about in AEW.
Exactly.
WWE. Yeah. I don't know how much we really have to cover in WWE, but we'll cover WWE.
There's so much happening, Mark. You got this.
It was nice that we had that 2-week break. Well, not 2-week break, essentially a week break. Because I watched wrestling, but I didn't have to watch wrestling. And it was an alright time to take that break. Yeah. Because not a lot happened in 2 weeks, essentially.
No, not really. It just kind of... It's starting to progress forward the WrestleMania Backlash card. But again, the Backlash card itself is not... It's a WrestleMania. WrestleMania redone. Except for a couple odds and ends here and there.
Yeah, it really is. All right, let's do the garbage work right now. We'll take a break. You'll hear Collar and Elbow. And I actually have a somewhat of a read from Collar and Elbow this week. So let's see if I can do this right, because I'm not pulling it up. Collar and Elbow is kicking out of winter with the spring sale. Everything's on sale right now at collarandelbow.com. Go check them out. They do have some of their new spring garb up. Again, hats, hoodies, tees, all that cool stuff from the Hooligans and Al Snow at collarandelbowwrestling.com. It's on sale now. They're kicking out of winter with their spring sale. So everything's on sale. Use our promo code CANCRUSHERS, capital C in can, capital C in Crushers, all one word. You'll get an extra 10% off. How about that? That sounds like I was actually reading it.
That was impressive. I'm very happy for you. I wish we would coordinated though, and I would have did the 1-2 kick out. You gotta work on that. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe next week, because I think the sale's for like 2 weeks. But get it now before it's not on sale.
Yeah. Get your merchandise now. Don't wait for us to do the 1-2 kick out.
Yeah. Guys, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all at CanCrusher69. Send us an email about anything. Just bitch at us at CanCrusher69@gmail.com. You can find us on podcast hosts everywhere.
Everywhere.
Here comes Al Snow. When we come back, we'll deep dive into whatever Jenks picks when we're on break.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Yo, what's up? This is the hooligan, Julian J, and I listen to the Can Crushers podcast.
And welcome back to Can Crushers. Jenks picked that we're doing WWE first, but we forgot to talk about something. Jenks, what did we forget to talk about?
Well, I was actually impressed during break that we substituted baseball for video games, because we usually start with video games. But I think we're going right back there, aren't we?
We're going to go to video games. We're not going to jelly beans, that's for sure.
Let's not do that, please.
Okay.
I'm done with that discussion. I left that in the dust on Easter morning. If you haven't listened, 40-year dash, peanut butter eggs, better than jelly beans.
Yes.
So go on.
Yes, I promised you guys like 2 weeks ago that the tournament for the tag team titles have been up. There's been a problem, and it's not on the gaming system or anything. It's been Mother Nature around this neck of the woods. You know I'm broadcasting high school baseball now, and we're getting 2 games, okay? And I have this, Mark is going to, on my little desktop here, with the calendar that you can write on, the desk calendar.
Yeah.
I have everything planned out. Baseball game on tomorrow night. No, I'm actually telling you, like, my schedule this week. Baseball game tomorrow night, baseball game on Tuesday. I have a release of a podcast on Wednesday and another interview. I have another baseball game on Thursday, and that's how it's been looking. Well, when Mother Nature says, it's going to rain, and we're already at said stadium or wherever, that sucks, because now we rip down, tear down, bring everything back to the studio. I get back home and have it be nobody's here, or I throw off the whole scheme at home that, hey, now we have to feed one more because he's not eating hot dogs and a piece of pizza at a ballpark. Now we have to feed Mark as well. So we're all scrambling around, figuring out what the hell we're going to do. And then it's later in the day, because we sat for an hour waiting for the rain to go by, and it didn't go by, and I'm like, Mark's either pissed or tired, so Mark's not playing video games.
Right.
That affects the next day, because now that baseball game is going to move to the next day. Oh, shit. So the interview that I have scheduled with Bob Jones, I have to ask, can we bump it? Because now baseball's been bumped. And it's been like that literally for 2 weeks, because we've had snow, rain, hell, because it's been hot down here a couple days, but the fields have not dried out. Then it goes back to snow, rain, and hell again.
Yep.
So there's no scheme of what's going on. That's why nothing's been posted on YouTube. Jenks threw me under the bus as soon as I talked to him this morning. And
I was just asking a question.
And it may happen. But you're over there crowning new champions.
I am. I'm doing my business with Harambe. He is the Galaxy champion of the world right now. And we named a TikTok champion and the fantasy craziness that I was doing of Doctor Strange coming out of nowhere in a ladder match. So we gotta name the tag champs next.
We do. I need to figure out when. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We got to get the tag champs so we can start the universe. So I can just plug everybody in the universe and see what goes on, and just let the computer run it. When I do get downtime, I still am watching people put on Rumbles. I think the Rumble's still some of the greatest stuff. When you have Jennifer Aniston coming in a women's Rumble against Selena Gomez, again, it's just the whole process of downloading people that takes so long. It really does.
It does. I mean, and then, so for me, I'm kind of a perfectionist with that. So I have to go in and look at the...
Doctor them up, essentially.
Doctor them up. Get the finishers in the right place. Because a lot of them just had GTS to go to sleep as their finisher. And, you can't have that for 25 different people.
No.
So you try to fix those up and all that. So that's that takes the longest of that. But I think the Rumble match is my favorite match in that game.
Oh, by far.
I just like that a lot. I mean, I like the different modes in that. Although I haven't done Universe or Showcase yet, but
Oh, the showcase, the My Rise thing, that.
my race I've done. No, the Mysterio Showcase.
Oh yeah, the Mysterio showcase is harder than hell for me, even on rookie. Like because there's so much that you have to do, and I stopped. I've not played enough video games. I have to turn it on every day, no matter what, to check in for baseball, so I get the stubs to get the dynasty players and everything else like that. So it's on at least every day to get that, and maybe a quick game of baseball, and then I turn it off. I can't. I have not been able to sit for 8 to 10 hours and do what I want to do.
Plug away at it.
Yeah. So.
I'm trying to. So the new update, I think, introduced tag titles to the My GM mode. If I'm correct.
Oh, and I know the Bonsai package drops Tuesday, where you get Yokozuna and the rest of the people in his group. If you have the season pass, you'll get it for free. If you don't have the season pass, I don't know how much it is. Probably $7 to $9.99, if not more.
Potentially, yeah. So the network the new patch was it gave you NXT 2.0 arena, online entrances, and then you get the tag titles and expanded match cards, and then My GM plus more.
Oh, I did run through a My GM, a 15-week My GM, just to see how it was long ago. You know, this game's been out for like a month and a half now, and it's been like a month since I've actually deep dove into it.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks because I started on my baseball game.
Exactly.
So
baseball.
Because I have the outdated show. I have show 2020.
Oh,
but
2 years behind. Oh,
2 years behind.
I can't even talk to you anymore.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, I just moved the Athletics to Las Vegas, and we're plugging away there.
Nice.
But yeah, so, I mean, so that looks interesting. So I might have to plug away at that later today or tonight, and just give that a whirl and see what I can come up with.
All right, WWE. People are like, shut
What's
the
that?
fuck up.
What is wrestling?
Right.
What is this wrestling you're talking about?
Shut up and get the wrestling. So we're just going to summarize 2 weeks and what would come into our head. I'm not going by notes or anything. I do have a couple notes for this week. But Jenks, for WrestleMania has been over now for essentially 3 weeks as of today. And do you think it's right that Seth and Cody are starting the show each and every week? Or do you think they need pushed back to the 9 o'clock spot? I don't think it's a big enough match to have at the end yet. I think it will be before Backlash. It'll be the last thing on Raw. But I don't need to see Cody, as much as I love him, even when he was getting booed in AEW. I don't want to see him first anymore, because that essentially means you're not going to see him again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you're right. They need to start moving them back at the time spots. Not so if they go to the 9 o'clock hour, great. Then take them to maybe the main event slot somewhere in there for the week before Backlash. But I guess my follow-up question to that is, what's going to be hot enough to kick off Raw then? Is it
that's the downfall.
Sonya? Yeah,
that's the downfall.
Where do you go with that? I mean, you could go the safe option of RK Bro versus the Usos, because that's got built-in storylines now. But I don't know if that's strong enough to do that, especially now with the Street Profits lurking around that picture.
Right.
And all that. So there's a lot more to play into this. But I think at the moment, you kind of have to start with a hot foot forward, and that's Cody Rhodes. Yeah,
I agree. Because as much as Zeke wants to speak, him and KO are a middle of a road thing going on. Sure, we're going to get a match out of it.
We are probably at WrestleMania Backlash. I mean, it's been entertaining.
It has been.
I'm not taking away from that, but you're right. It's not. It's middle of the road. It's not really that thing that's going to get off to that white hot start. Excuse me, I lost my voice there for a second.
Why?
But yeah.
Why not have Roman then, and let him come out and speak? Because as of recording, Sunday morning, Roman, it is spoiled that he should have a match at Backlash, but we don't know yet, this, that, and the other. It's going to be a real quick, we're going to put this match together type of deal thing following this coming Friday, I believe. Mm-hmm. But why not have him come out? He's he's double champions Roman, or whatever, Roman, however, what do you want to call him? Nothing has been said. You know, I don't know. He spoke a little bit, but you have to poke the fire that there's nobody there for him right now.
Well, and that's it. I mean, it looks like they're going to shoehorn in Drew here.
Yeah.
Into that position, which to me is good if it's a month full build. This is turning into a 2-3 week build to just turn around and have him lose at Backlash, because I don't see Drew winning this.
I don't either. I'm glad we're going to stick and stay with this real quick. You're right. I don't see Drew winning it. And then, after it's only the 2-week build for the Backlash, where do we go for whatever the hell is after Backlash? Like, they've gotten themselves handcuffed, because you're not giving Cody Roman until SummerSlam.
I wouldn't think so, but who knows? Well, here it is, because I just pulled up the lineup card that I can see right here. The next pay-per-view after Backlash is Hell in a Cell. You're not putting Roman in a cell.
No. You can't put Roman in a cell against Cody with no build-up.
And then it looks like Money in the Bank is in July. But here's the thing with Money in the Bank. That's in Allegiant Stadium. You putting him in a football stadium for Money in the Bank.
Which is crazy for that. And
then you turn around 28 days later, because I'm looking at the schedule right now with SummerSlam, and you're putting him in Nissan Stadium in Nashville, another football stadium, for SummerSlam.
I didn't know they went to so many stadiums this year.
I didn't realize that either, but yeah. I'm going to click through here. I'm going to find the full year, because this one only shows Survivor Series as well. But yeah, 2 stadiums back to back.
Wow.
That's insane to me. Plus, Ketta's in October. I think that one's going to be TLC. If what I'm believing, which we knew that was coming up anyways, but that's wild to me.
Yeah. And then essentially we're on Survivor Series, which is going to be a shit show, which is not a good pay-per-view at all anymore.
Well, they destroyed it.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that, but they have, because I think that had I've already gone on my rant about Survivor Series and the way it's gone downhill. But
we all have, yeah.
We all have, yeah. They haven't announced where the pay-per-views are in September and October, but one of them is Jeddah, and I think one of them is TLC. So that would be the only thing that makes sense.
There you go. I hate that the awkward pause there, but that's essential. Yeah. I mean, because who are they building up? I don't think that if you don't get the Cody soon, you don't get the Cody until WrestleMania then. Right?
I would think so. Here's my thought, and maybe this is just me fantasy booking this or thinking too much into the weeds here. Maybe you don't get him to Tennessee. Maybe you put him in an Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas because of the deep ties with AEW in Vegas. But that takes away from the Money in the Bank ladder match, in my opinion. Because you're putting in Money in the Bank. To me, if you're going to name it after a stipulation, which I still hate the stipulations run it, except for Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble, I think those make sense.
Right.
But if you're going to run the stipulation, your world title match should not overshadow what the stipulation match is.
Always believe that. I agree.
So, but I could see them doing it because Vegas has such deep ties with AEW. They could put Cody Rhodes in Allegiant Stadium to sell it out. And to use that, we'll probably not sell it out, but to use that maybe to build up SummerSlam because it's such a quick 28-day turnaround in Nissan Stadium.
They'd have to. They'd have to.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. I don't know.
But I think I would hate that too because then you're using SummerSlam as the return match, which is even worse to me. I wouldn't like that. It's almost like a WrestleMania Backlash at that point.
But does that...
For at least that match.
Is that when maybe the Universal title isn't on the line, the WWE title, which Cody wants, is on the line?
That could be.
Because we need it... As much as I'm okay with him having them both right now, because he needs to. It makes the most sense. There's nobody else to carry the torch of both brands. But how do we get one of them off of them without getting both of them off of them? Because at some point, they're going to be separated again. And it will be by the end of 2022. All right? It's going to happen by the end of 2022.
Do you think...
yes, I do think that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I meant... So do you think it would be WWE titles off of Money in the Bank? SummerSlam is for the Universal? Excuse me. But then he falls short, or do you think the Bloodline gets involved at Money in the Bank and SummerSlam is the return for the match? Everybody's barred from ringside. And that's probably something we don't have to determine here. But
no, but that's a great point. Because then we always have to have the trifecta. In something like this, we have to have a trifecta, I think. That you have Cody win one, and then I like where you went with the Bloodline just beating the piss out of them, and then it ends up in a double disqualification or something stupid. But yeah, and we'll get there. We haven't said that in a couple weeks, but we'll get there. I don't know. I really don't know. I just think that there's only one human being built right now for Roman, and it's Cody, and it's just we're waiting. Now it's just when it's going to happen. Because, and we've said this for months and years, that nobody else is built up for Roman right now. Brock's gone. After WrestleMania, he packed his bags, he went back to Canada to, go fishing or whatever the hell Brock does.
Yeah, and I'm going to call it right now. And I'm going to say this right now. Hell in the Cell is either going to be Edge versus AJ Styles, or it's going to be Seth and Cody.
The trifecta of them.
Yeah. Or is it both? Do they have two Hell in the Cell matches?
Well, there will be two. Because
one would
for the women as well.
Would one be a woman's? Yeah. Well, there you go. Ronda and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Ronda and Charlotte in one, and then I would say Seth and Cody in another, because I don't think Cody's he has been in a Hell in a Cell he hasn't been in a singles match in Hell in a Cell though.
No, and the downfall is I don't know if I want to see that. I'd rather see the blow off of Edge and AJ in the Hell in a Cell.
I would agree, because I think that story's lending more towards that right now.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get there. We've engulfed a lot of people right there.
Yeah, we did.
Are you happy that Sonya is getting and this one is actually always on the top of my mind. Are we happy that Sonya is getting thrown right into the title mix? And I'll spoil it. Yes, because I think she was, before she went into her lawsuit and everything, was a weirdo that was stalking her. I think she was there.
Yeah.
And she's ready. She's not winning it. Or is she?
I think she's a good first opponent for Bianca. I think Bianca's winning this, because I feel like it feels to me we're getting Becky Bianca at SummerSlam this year.
Good name to bring up, because we have not seen somebody since WrestleMania.
Exactly. I could see her be out until maybe Money in the Bank or something. I'm not saying she's winning Money in the Bank, but what I'm saying is she could be just lying in wait, if you will. I think I like Sonya in the title hunt. I kind of don't want to deal with the whole WWE official storyline still, but all right, we'll get there how we get there, I guess.
I think that's coming off after this match.
I feel like it is, because I feel like this is second time it's happened now or whatever. She's abusing power, so they'll probably take it off of her at some point, which is good, because I want Sonya in that full-time competitor space, because I think she's really good at it, and I feel like she should get built up to maybe, not saying she will, but maybe win Money in the Bank.
Oh, I'd like that. I would like that. I've always been a Sonya fan. I have.
Yeah, so have I. And I think that would be a dangerous person to put it on because it would feel natural that she could come literally out of nowhere and take the title. Skill set.
Wow.
Based type thing. So we'll see.
So off of Bianca or off of Becky? Because if she wins it at Money in the Bank and you're saying that Becky is lingering around and gets a SummerSlam match, that means we're going to have somebody have the Money in the Bank longer than a month, which is fucking unbelievable anymore. Because
for the women's title.
Yeah, God forbid anybody have that for 6 months that you forget about it, but you know that it's there and suspense is there when they cash in.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in the women. Everybody cashes in within a week for the women.
I was going to say, has there been a time where it's gone past a month? I can't recall if there has, and maybe I'll do some Googling while we're talking here. But I think, man, I would think it does, though. I think, but Sonya could cash in on anybody.
Yeah.
Could she not? So she could theoretically, if she wanted to, I don't think she would, cash in on Ronda.
That's what I'd like to see.
I think that would be a smart match to do that in. She takes it off for Ronda, maybe right after Hell in a Cell if that match is in there.
And then you reset everything because also we talk about how WrestleMania is reset, but once that Money in the Bank is cashed in and it changes champions for 88% of the time or whatever, that kind of resets the whole formula as well. You know, you have the champion get a rematch once in a while, but everybody else kind of like shuffles around and then gets to where they need to be up or down in the card. And having that happen, if it's in Hell in a Cell with Charlotte again, that resets Charlotte to do something besides being around the title. And as much as we say she's around the fucking title all around her, she has it all the time. We know that Charlotte does not need a title. She can be Randy Orton. Yes, he's got the tag team titles right now, but Randy went years without even sniffing a title. That can be Charlotte. You have to beat the opportunity to get a shot. And there's so many feuds built in for Lacey Evans returning, and oh my God, there's Bayley, there's Asuka, there's still people that's returning that we haven't seen after WrestleMania that we thought we were going to see before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
there's opportunities that was not meant to come out that way, but there's places you can go with Charlotte that doesn't need to be around the title.
Well, that's exactly it. She is in that, they have built her to be in that echelon.
Yeah.
Where she can do what she wants, and it's still a high-profile feud. And, I mean, they said it perfectly, and you're right. Money in the Bank, or not Money in the Bank, Hell in a Cell would be the reset for that. I did do Googling. There's one person that has held the Money in the Bank longer than a month. Do you want to take a guess?
Was it Carmella?
Yes. The very first Money in the Bank.
But how long? It didn't seem longer than a month.
Oh, it was. It was 287 days.
Really?
She waited. So, I think here's where the trick is. If you remember when she won it, Ellsworth retrieved it. So they had to put it back up on SmackDown Live and do the Money in the Bank over again.
Right.
Where she re-won it.
Because the world went crazy that he handed it to her. Which, God, is wrestling. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, right. But then she held off on cashing it in on Charlotte after WrestleMania. But if I go off of that mode, I'm looking through this list. Nobody has held the contract longer than a day since.
Really?
Alexa Bliss cashed in 2 hours and 52 minutes. This is Wikipedia stats. Bayley, when she cashed in, it was 1 hour, 25 minutes. Asuka, she became Raw Women's Champion because that's when Becky announced her pregnancy. Nikki ASH, 1 day. That was the longest time between the contract being won and cashed in since Carmella was 1 day.
Holy balls. Yeah, so we need a long one here. By who? It doesn't matter if Sonya wins or your dog Bailey wins.
Yeah.
It needs to be a longer one.
It needs to be. And if it doesn't, I honestly just think it trashes the whole Money in the Bank concept for women.
Yes. Yes, because the speculation of when, even the faux cashing ins running out when they're doing an interview, or, they lost a tag team match or something that you could just slide in, but then they instantly get energy back. And those are all great sales in wrestling that we like to see.
Yeah.
Not, okay, you win it at the first match of the pay-per-view, and by the middle of the card, we have a new champion maybe twice over.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah.
It's terrible. But I guess that's been a trend for horrible. I mean, the men, nobody's held it for over 200 days in a long time. I think since Edge.
Wow.
To be honest. Oh, sorry, Seth Rollins.
When he cashed in on Brock.
And
Roman, yeah.
Yep.
But still, that's what, 5 years ago now.
Oh, God, 7.
7. Let's see.
Yeah.
Time frame. Back to baseball real quick, and this is a stupid transition.
All right.
Did you know Veer was a Pittsburgh Pirate?
No.
Yeah. Do you not see the memes and everything, or am I completely blown away and fabricated by this? That remember that thing that they were doing, the $1 Million Arm, and that kid ended up signing with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Veer. So they say. And I haven't dove into it because I only saw this week. And it was on my list. But I'm bringing it to you to see if you know about it, if it's factual. But that the kid that won the $1 Million Arm then signed with the Pirates. I never made it to the majors, I don't believe, if my brain works today. Quit baseball and is now Veer Mahalian.
Oh, my God.
Are you Googling this? Did you Google it?
I'm Googling this. I think you might be right, because when he comes up, so it comes up, Veer Mahan is Rinku Singh, and I'm pronouncing that horribly, and it says Indian baseball player.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's put on some weight and some facial hair.
Yep, he was the subject of the movie $1 Million Arm.
Yeah.
He only made it to single A.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
So he stayed in Bradenton the whole time.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's crazy.
$1 Million Arm to 50-cent wrestler. Because I still can't get behind him.
What do you mean he's a lion?
He is a lion. Rawr.
They should have called him a pirate. I'm sorry. Missed opportunity here. Maybe they wanted to call him Tiger or something.
I agree.
The pirate Veer. Yeah, that worked. But yeah, well, I did not know that. That's swinging a hit on that, I guess. I don't know.
Swinging a miss.
Swinging a miss. Well, he's still out. Still out here.
All right, he's still out. What do you think about the House of Edge? Because it's clearly a knockoff of the House of Black. We just need the third member.
That was the greatest hot take I saw on Twitter was from Brody King on that. The Wish.com version of the House of Black.
Yes.
I mean, I like
Edge doing it. And I think Punishment, I wish they would change his name back to Punishment Martinez because that fucking fits.
Yeah.
And then get Ciampa in or somebody.
Well, I think they expand. I saw the rumors, and I feel like Ciampa and Rhea would be excellent fits in this. I think you add a woman to this fold because I think AEW is getting to that point too with the House of Black.
Yes.
Still thinking it's Julia Hart.
We both are on that page. Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like I like it. I like where it's going. I don't want to. We're going to see it. We're going to see the BS ending where Damian Priest gets involved a lot. But maybe WrestleMania Backlash is where we see Ciampa come into the fold. almost like an evolution of the group. It's like every pay-per-view, there's going to be an addition of one. So maybe AJ accounts for Damian, but he doesn't account for Ciampa.
So who sides? Because if we're building this up, and we're going to build it up right for at least the Survivor Series match, who the hell is joining AJ? Because AJ needs somebody on his side. He's riding solo right now.
Well, I mean, there's a gentleman right now that's named after one of the Angels, and he had a brother named Elias. I don't know. I had to go there. Maybe it's Zeke. Maybe it's, I would say the Street Profits, but I feel like they're turning heel soon. Or somebody's turning heel in that group. Very heel tactics by that group. I don't know. Who would you take the team with him? It's not Cody, because Cody's going to be in the main event picture.
Right.
Maybe Finn. You get a little Bullet Club type reunion there.
I'd be all right with that, because Finn has, and that's a great transition we'll get to, because Finn's got other things on his plate now that he doesn't have a title.
Yeah. So I guess that's where my head is. I think maybe Finn. You could probably pluck a couple people off SmackDown. I don't know why I'm drawing blanks on who's out there. Maybe Ricochet. I feel like you're going to put in place different people in this. Well, I guess I'd stick to Raw because everybody's on Raw for Eddie's team. So why would you go to SmackDown?
Because that's what WWE does.
Well,
Drew could be out of this picture and over by then. Because essentially,
it could be a draft.
The draft.
It's a draft in October. Yeah, you're right.
Right. And I know we're long booking, folks. I know we are. But essentially, this is what they're doing, too. These next pay-per-views, I mean, we're going to get through Backlash, which is a repeat of WrestleMania. And then you might as well just read spoilers, or just listen to the show. Because you're not going to get a lot. You don't get a lot after Mania until SummerSlam, until 2 to 3 weeks before SummerSlam.
Well, I think they built it up. We'll give them benefit of the doubt here, Mark. Now, this year, I think every year past, yes. But now this year, they put Money in the Bank directly in front of SummerSlam.
All right, yeah, we'll give them that.
So I think it's going to be a crossfire here. But you're right. April and May, you're not getting much.
No.
In terms of storyline development. But
no. All right. So Theory wins the U.S. Championship as well, as you kind of spoiled. We were getting there. Wins that. I think that's a great move. People are going to be like, holy shit, Finn is just used as garbage. Hello, Finn has been used as garbage for the last couple years. He's not one of Vince's favorites, so this was clearly a transition champion. I think we see Austin with it for a while. And not that I've not liked Austin, but I really like Theory now. Like, I really like what he's doing. He's a complete jackass. His selfie thing is his gimmick.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for him because he's a giant, and he's doing it well. He's a giant douche, and he knows how to do it.
He's playing the narcissistic card.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Better than Lex Luger did. Yeah,
exactly. Narcissist, if you go by Barbara Heenan's pronunciation. But yeah. But yeah, he's doing it way better than Luger ever did. It's perfect for him. And I mean, it makes sense for him. He's a young, hotshot guy. Yeah. That's getting these chances. It makes perfect sense for him.
All right, let's switch over to SmackDown quickly because I don't know. Without Roman coming out and talking every so often, I don't know. SmackDown has kind of dropped the ball for me recently. But be prepared. I'm going to get heat, probably from you, the rest of your 40-year Dash listeners, my close friends in the world. I fucking love Butch. I understand he was Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne is still in there to do his thing. But this craziness of Butch just losing stupidly by small packages or whatever, and then he just goes off and beats the piss out of people. That's a little bit of me. That's a little bit of everybody inside that they're angry. I mean, he's not really mad at Sheamus and Ridge Holland. He's mad at himself, and he's taking his frustration out. He's got a little man complex as well. Yeah. I love it. Pete Dunne's doing some great work character-wise? Is it still a stupid gimmick? Because we all fucking know who he is? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But he's doing well with it.
Can I tell you this? I'm
Do it.
in the same boat.
Yeah!
My only complaint about this whole thing, because Pete Dunne is a tremendous wrestler through and through, it was the name change. But it came out this week that Vince wants everybody's names changed so they can basically trademark it and make money off of it.
Right. Well, that's
We
not
knew-
just
we
this
knew
week.
that-
We
it
knew
wasn't-
that 20 years
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
But then the report finally came out, but we already knew that. And it was probably leaked by them because, he's changed everybody, he's getting shit for it. But I like Butch this way. I do like Pete Dunne. I mean, I hate the name, but Pete Dunne is a tremendous wrestler. And he's playing this character. He's actually showing a little bit of range here.
Yeah, he is.
We knew him as a bruiserweight. Now we're seeing him as this little guy complex, just full out rage monster. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, and I don't hate it. I mean, I like it.
It took a couple weeks. But
And I think, yeah, agreed. And I think it was because I just hated the name that much. But I see what they're doing with it, and I can't fault them for it.
yeah, we could put the name Butch behind us and just watch what Pete Dunne does.
Yeah,
And he's
that's
working it.
Well, yeah, but that's it for a lot of these guys. Yes, let's talk Walter. He's now Gunther. God, that's a dumb name. But they only changed the name, not the person, not the wrestler behind it. Right? He's always been the ring general. So to me, for everybody getting upset, it made sense that everybody's upset about these names and that. But to me, if we get past the names, it's the same wrestlers that we've known. They might be playing a different character, but it's the same wrestlers that we have known, and they're still doing tremendous things in the ring. We just have to get over that hump and understand WWE, we go back to it and we say it a lot, it's entertainment, so they're going to change things up to the way that they want to present things. And that's what's happening here.
Are we giving WWE praises a little bit here?
I think we are.
I mean, we're not really shitting on him. By the way, you brought up Gunther. Did you know that Teddy Goods won a 100-man battle royal the night before to have a match with him? Did you hear McAfee say that?
I did hear him say that.
Actually, he said
good for
Royal
Teddy
Rumble,
Goods.
but still.
Yeah, Teddy Goods, tremendous athlete, but not on the level as Gunther. I don't know. Maybe he got it too much into his head. Maybe he just thought he was better than he was.
Yeah.
But he was the king of the mountain for 24 hours.
Yeah, 100-man Royal Rumble.
Beautiful match.
Well, yeah, I wish they would have showcased that. Why didn't we get some of that on SmackDown?
Well, I wish we would have, but I heard Glorilla was in it, Harambe was in it,
Oh,
Mo Sizlak. It was a lot of things. The bunny from Adam, whatever his name was,
Sandler?
little bunny group. No, the bunny from the.
Oh, Adam Rose.
Adam Rose. There you go. His bunny.
Jesus
Yeah, I
God.
was trying to think of it all up.
Outback Jack. People like that were in it.
Yeah, Skinner. Skinner was in there a little bit.
Nice. I have one more thing on WWE, and then we can transition after our break to AEW. You can say whatever you want. Are you okay with what they're doing with Sammy? Like, what is Sammy's payoff once he gets out of this Drew thing? Because he just came off of, and it worked this week. It was like spring cleanup. So I have a quick story. It's spring cleanup at work, and people bring garbage down to our facility. We don't charge them. We throw it in a big dumpster, give them a high five. They're on their way. They clean out their house if they want to, and a lot of people are. Well, this older gentleman, brings a truckload of garbage down. Cool, we got it for you, buddy. Well, he's standing by the side of the truck, and he's like, "Are those real?" Dude, I'm in your truck. Yeah, what? He's like, "Your tattoos." Well, yeah, they're real. He's like, "So you're a wrestling fan?" Yeah. First thing he says to me, what did you think of the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match? And this guy is, I'm not lying, he's 70 plus. Still watching WWE. That's going to be us. What did you think of that? So, the same thing I said during WrestleMania recap on the show. I said, to me, it wasn't a match. He looks at me with the rock eye. I said, it was a long moment. I said, we knew it was going to happen. He's like, I know where you're going. He's like, we knew that Sammy was going to get beat, and it was just a nonsense. I said, yes. I said, it was one of the best this year. I said, I loved it. He's like, and then he just starts regurgitating the match back to me. He, and this guy, barely moving as we're unloading his truck, just telling to me. Of course, it was a moment of saying, hey, here, listen to the podcast. Okay, cool.
Right.
He's like, always cards in my pocket, even at work. He's like, yeah, man, yeah. We talked about it. But that's the first thing that this 70-plus-year-old guy, and if you're listening, thank you, by the way, says to me about WrestleMania this year. So it is entertainment, and it did catch on to people.
Yep.
But my thought where all this began is, what do we do with Sammy now? One of the hottest WrestleMania matches. All right, so he's now thrown into a sub-main event type of... It's a main event now on SmackDown because Roman is there, but he's not doing anything. So it's a main event for the last couple of weeks, and next week he's going to get a cage match against Drew. He can get his ass handed to him 6 ways, or he might roll out with the win because Drew's got Roman's name in his mouth. Where does he go next? Because I feel so bad for him. Like, I want Sammy to back into the IC thing, or Christ, make a tag team so we have more than 2 tag teams in WWE with Sammy, or something. I want him always around. It seems like he's going to go back to the bottom of the barrel again.
I could see him circling back and taking the title back from Ricochet.
I would love that, because Roman does have heat, all right? But everybody's starting to acknowledge Roman now. So as bad as he is, he's loved, right? We're on that same page. We need Sammy to spit on people, punch babies, and do shit like that, so there's a true heel that people hate. Because Roman's not hated anymore again, folks. Sorry.
Nope.
He's not.
He's got to go back to the conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Sami Zayn.
I hope.
That's where it needs to go, yeah. And I think he does that. I think the only way to do that is with Ricochet. Is go back and take the title back from Ricochet. And say there's a conspiracy against me. I didn't lose that. Because Johnny came out, and that's how he lost it.
Right.
So he has the argument, and he has a way to bring that back. I think he just transitioned back into that title hunt.
So do you think he gets the win Friday?
Yes.
I do
but
too.
I think it's because of the Usos.
Oh,
the
clearly.
bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dropping in like Sting and dropping in that or they're beating the piss out of Roman before. There's going to be 5 minutes left. The cage is going to come down. Drew's going to get drug out with a forklift, thrown in the ring, and Sammy's going to win with a haluva kick.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly it. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 quick. Do they come in with Sting masks, though?
No. Probably Black Scorpion masks.
Yeah, Black Scorpion. Vampiro.
Yes. Mortis. We can keep going on.
Mortis. Yeah, let's do it.
Other than that, that's WWE for me in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I think we deep dove farther than we were gonna, but we kind of gave everybody our thoughts of what we see coming up and what's happened. Jenks, what do you got?
The one other thing I want to mention, well, 2 other things. I mean, we didn't bring up the turn that we knew was coming for Rhea and Liv.
Oh,
we knew that was coming. But
that was just elongated from WrestleMania, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one is Drew Gulak being put out the pasture here, apparently. Just be nothing against Charlotte and Ronda, but just getting submission hold slapped on him.
Well, he's going to be... I think that's going to be another thing with the whole Sonya. I think him and Sonya are going to butt heads a little bit because he's the intern or whatever being prepped. He's going to end up costing Sonya overall and be on Adam's best side.
Well, he could be he's probably going to be the one that replaces Sonya after this is all said and done, to your point.
Which is good because they got nothing for him to do.
Yeah, and I really like Drew, and I want him to get more on TV and that. So
We
So I
did
agree
forget
with that.
about one thing. Damn it, and I don't know why I'm bringing it up. Were you happy to go to a wedding this week?
It ended the way I thought it was going to end. The wedding did.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's enough about that. Shout out, though, to the Queen of the Silver Screen, who was part of Dana Brooks' side of the wedding. Katie Arquette was she, what do you call those, bridesmaid, or was she just
Yeah.
in
I think
attendance?
bridesmaid's the proper term.
Well, I understand bridesmaid. I hate you. Was the proper term, but was she just VIP royalty to be in the ring?
I'm going to be honest, Mark. I didn't know who was a bridesmaid and who wasn't last week.
I didn't know who was getting married and who wasn't.
Yeah.
A lot of IWC, though, on wrestling this week. Starting on Monday night with Katie Arquette. And then as we transition to AEW, a lot on the show there. A lot more going to be on Dark tomorrow night. And don't forget, in Rollister, this Saturday, the 30th, IWC Super Show will be taking place. The Hardys will be there. Thunder Rosa is going to be there. Matt Taven's going to be there. Eric Rowan's going to be there. Make sure you check that out. It's only live. It is not on the IWC network live, but it will be after about a week because there's no internet service there. So that's just yeah, I know. So that's just the heads up that it will be on the IWC network for only $9.99 a month. Make sure you check that out as well. All right. I will bring up more IWC wrestlers in the next segment when we talk about AEW because there was a plethora of them all over Wardlow.
Right. Hey, here's a quick question for you, Mark. Was the Hardys facing Enzo and Cass this weekend, or was that last weekend?
I thought that was
that the weekend before?
Like yesterday weekend. Not the week before, yeah. I think it was this past, like yesterday. Which,
yep, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
All right, we'll be back.
Yep.
This is Shalonce Royale. And if you're not listening to Can Crushers, like, what are you doing? You need to listen. You have to listen.
Welcome back, Can Crushers, to the podcast. Was that good? Was that on point?
If you're comparing yourself to Shalonce Royale, that was putrid.
Trash. Yeah, it was trash. I could not get to Aiden English levels. I couldn't bring in Happy Rusev Day here.
I do miss Happy Rusev Day.
I do too. I should wear that shirt. I haven't worn that shirt in a while.
I miss Miro, let alone Rusev.
Yeah, where's Miro been?
I don't know. I don't know. And it's starting to go, uh-oh. Are we going to get, because we are getting more signings and we're getting more organizations, let alone ROH, brought into AEW. And I'm not being the poo-poo platter or anything like that, but holy moly, we got a lot of people on the roster and legit only 4 hours of national TV time. Yeah, we have Dark and Elevation, but I'm hearing some people don't want to be on Dark and Elevation.
Yeah. You want to know what a dream match that just came to my mind this week would be?
What?
That I don't think we've seen. Miro versus Samoa Joe.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen that, and I want to see it.
Yeah, I do too now.
Yeah. Well, because AEW has a great tendency, and might as well transition into it because that's where we're going. They have a good tendency of giving us matches that we didn't know we want to see. And one's going to be in the Owen Hart tournament next week, and we'll talk about that probably in a little bit here. But they give us those matches that we didn't know we want to see. And that is one that popped into my mind. I'm like, I don't think they ever gave us Joe versus Rusev. I don't think their paths cross in WWE. So that would be a stellar match.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking Joe. If Joe works ROH and, Rusev Miro works Miro AEW.
Yeah.
No WWE
I know. I agree with
fabrication involved in this match.
that. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I'm just saying we never got that opportunity to see them as their respective character versions in WWE either.
Right.
I still think that would have been some sort of it wouldn't have been as great of a match, but it would have been a banger, if you will, as the young kids put it these days.
Yeah,
I think it still would have been
a
headbanger. Yeah.
So we'll stay with that for a minute because you brought up Joe, and since he's on AEW/ROH, it's been led through this past week that we're going to get somewhat of a brand split because it said that Joe is going to be more focused on the ROH style of wrestling that is incorporated with AEW. When are we going to get this? And I know this is a theoretical question, essentially, because we don't know what Tony's working on. When do we get that ROH show? Because I think the first show that is on for ROH, the numbers are going to be crazy. Because you're going to get those ROH fanatics that are from back in the El Generico, Kevin Steen days and everything like this. They want to compare it to what it used to be.
Yeah.
He can't drop the ball. We have to have Joe against, I would imagine it's going to be Lethal, which would be fucking phenomenal for me.
In its own right.
Yeah, in its own right. But we need something like that to, one, pay homage, and two, to do the respect for it.
Right. So here's my thought on it. I think the next couple months are going to be spent towards the Owen Hart tournament and then the Forbidden Door spoilers, that announcement that came out this week with New Japan. I think those are your next 2 months. I think we don't get an ROH brand split or our show until July, August timeframe.
I'm all right with that. That's only a few months away. I'm all right with that because you can build up some stuff. Have some crossovers where Joe has to defend the TV title. There it is. On AEW to get the hard fans of AEW to watch ROH if they've never heard of it before.
Yeah, and you know what? Now thinking about it, I think you could see the ROH, like an inaugural ROH pay-per-view, per se inaugural, in July. That leads into All Out in September, Labor Day weekend, September. And then you get that October break. Then it's Full Gear. Then December could be another ROH pay-per-view. And then you get that break until February. You know what I mean? You could see it play out that way. And that's how they kind of bounce around the two as well. If that makes sense.
I'd be all right with it. The downfall is now we're getting essentially, as long as they don't cross paths when the whole ROH pay-per-view comes about and we have an ROH roster and an AEW roster, once that split happens, I don't want to be, I'm going to buy them anyway, but let's not be a dick about it. I don't want a pay-per-view every month. I don't want to get to that. I'm all for the 4 pay-per-views. And if you're going to do that, maybe ROH only gets 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah. Well, and that's where my mind was, is you get the 4 AEW ones, but then you get maybe 2 or 3 ROH ones, and they're purely separate. Like you do TV, like a Clash of Champions type deal, or like Battle of the Belts becomes that, hey, let's bring in the ROH title to be defended on national TV. Or let's bring in the TV title. Like we saw with Gresham and Castle 2 weeks ago. Maybe that's how you incorporate both together, but they don't exactly face off against each other.
Okay.
And we get the clean split, and it's more 2 brands, but we get that clean split, but they're all under Tony Khan still.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Hey, Jenks, so this week, my first match coming back to critique and doing notes was Punk against Dustin. Like, I watched wrestling last week, and I watched wrestling as a fan, and I watched it wrestling just some on fast forward, some on rewind. Yeah, I'm talking across the board. AEW, some matches got fast forward. I at least saw what was going on, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to give wrestling 12 hours this week. Plus it rained and I had baseball games and so on and so forth. So stuff like that didn't happen. My first match back coming back for the pay-per-view, because everybody knows I don't watch anything live anymore. It just doesn't happen. I can't. I'm old. Was Punk against Dustin. What a fucking match to come back to start bringing back to the podcast. This
a very good match.
I was thrilled. Not as much by Punk, because we know Punk. Dustin looked young again. Like, there was something, because the last time we saw Dustin, he was carrying a ball, a chain, a cement block, and a coffin. He couldn't move.
Yeah.
He looked great in this match, for as great as he is.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, does that speak to the opponent he had?
I believe
we
so.
We saw on the Twitter beforehand, that was really, it became a passion of his to finally face Punk. You get invigorated when you have that passion in either match, or you're just passionate in what you do. You get invigorated by it. So I think that played into it too, like a little bit, because let's be honest, that was something I think I wanted to see for a long time.
But was it on the front of your mind want to see it, or was it way back, or was it, hey, holy shit, this is going to happen? Exactly.
It's an example of, I didn't know I wanted to see it, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
Matches that AEW does on a regular now.
Yeah.
But I want to give a shout out, because I didn't pick up on this in the match, but there was somebody made the comparison on Twitter, and I can't remember who they are to give them proper credit, but they made the comparison of, this was a Bret Hart style of match. If we keep going back to it, because a lot of the moves that you saw in there, they've been done over time in that, but a lot of them I think was for one particular Bret Hart match, and I can't remember what it was for. But the ending was even the same. It was a quick roll up to win it.
It was.
Yeah. So, and I kind of like that. When you don't do it that often, I like when the roll ups do win it.
I agree.
Because I think it's much better that way. But if you do it every week, like
Xavier Woods and Butch,
because it happens in WWE a lot, it doesn't do it for me. But when you do it in this type of matches, then you're going to. Yeah, you'll see what it is like in that capacity. That's pretty good.
I agree. I agree. Great match to come back to. Of course, we're going to break down AEW a little bit more, just because I have to mention a lot of people. Wardlow arrives, and I loved everything they did with Wardlow this week. We'll talk about him arriving. We'll talk about his match. We'll bring everything together, because the word's not coming to my mouth. We'll bring everything together that Wardlow did this week. First off, shout out to all my IWC peeps. Nick Lendl was there. Andrew Palace, RC Dupree, Tito Oric, Jackson Argos, Shane In Your Face / Victor Benjamin, whatever you want to call him, and Mandime. All Wardlow's handlers, so to speak. I've seen Wardlow run through each one of these people at the same time, individually. So I wonder if it was nice to be home for Wardlow in Pittsburgh, and it was like, all right, if you're an IWC fan and if you watch these guys, you're thinking, wow, Wardlow, a fan like you, Jenks, because you don't watch IWC that much, and I'm not knocking you for it. You're like, oh my God, there's 5 people surrounding Wardlow. This he's not going to be able to do anything. An IWC fan watching this is like, Wardlow's laughing in his head. I've beaten these bastards by myself before. So I'm like, wondering if Wardlow had a little snicker, like, these guys are going to do anything for me. But it's not Wardlow's voice, by the way. But
close enough.
But
when they put the handcuffs on him, I half expected him to just break the handcuffs.
I did too.
But he didn't do it. So I was like, okay, whatever. But no, you could see it in his face. He's like, okay, this is just ridiculous. And he played it off so well. Like, oh, you're going to make me go through these motions and that. But to your point, if you know IWC, you know he's run through them. So,
yeah,
I didn't know that little tidbit about who was involved, but
yeah, he's ran through all of them.
Ran through all of them. So.
Even the announcer, Lendl. Yeah. So we get to the match of Butcher and Wardlow. This was probably my favorite Butcher match of all time. Like, he looked good. He looked like he was the assassin that was supposed to be out there. And of course, we know just essentially we've seen it before, the 5 phases of MJF, that he's going to have to beat people to get to MJF, da-da-da-da-da. Cool. This was a great first one in the Butcher. Like, I thought he looked good, and I've not been a huge Butcher fan before.
Yeah, and I think that's contributed to, his weight loss and getting in more in shape. He's getting better.
Yeah.
In the weeks go on, but he's well over 40, isn't he? I think he's
believe so.
Close to 40, yeah. But he's turned into be quite a worthy opponent. And by me saying that, it's kind of legitimate because he is basically that mercenary.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, Mark. Does it feel like those roles in that faction are more defined since Andrade took over?
Yes. Yes.
Because now we're identifying, okay, Butcher and Blade are mercenaries. That's who they are. And it's just putting them in those roles better so that now we can say, okay, now they're a legitimate threat. They're just not Butcher and the Blade are coming out.
Yes.
But yeah. I would agree, man. Butcher's looking good when he comes out.
All in all, though, easy match for Wardlow. 4 power bombs, end of day, win. MJF and Spears going crazy up in the skybox, whatever. Then we have the little promo backstage. Get ready. I don't care that he's got to fight Archer. Like a couple years ago, I would be like, "Oh man, I'm going to be excited to see this." I think AEW has kind of shit on Archer a little bit. Like, we know where this is going. It's going to be a hard match for Wardlow. It's going to be a little bit tougher, this, that, and the other thing. But I don't even, as a wrestling fan, I'm like, it's Archer.
I don't know. To me, Archer, I think AEW may have done the disservice to Archer, but I since he's came in, I just haven't got behind him. And I think, and this is no knock on Cody, I think it's when he lost the TNT title. I think they should have put it on him because I believe he was a part of the tournament to crown the inaugural one. Isn't that right?
I believe so, yeah.
First challenger, whatever. I think he should have been given the title at that point because it completely derailed the monster that he was.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. If you want to take it back that far, yes, I agree. Because he was destroying people up until then.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he loses to Cody. If he would have beat Cody, won the tournament, then lost the title to Cody, fine. Great, whatever, that makes sense. But they didn't do that. And I think it just killed his momentum.
Yeah.
I almost feel like maybe they should have did the Brody Lee approach where he just destroys Cody to get the TNT title, and then they do a rematch type thing.
Yeah, have Hook or Crook or somebody comes out and screws over Archer to get him away from Cody in the feud.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who out of the match do you want to see join the BCC? Is it Moriarty, Brock Anderson? I hope you don't pick Dante Martin. But I feel one of these is going to be wrapped back around to be a member of the BCC soon.
Well, if we go by name checks, it's Moriarty. Right.
By the way, shout out, thank you AEW for putting him on TV in Pittsburgh as well. Another IWC/Rise alum in Pittsburgh, and doing the due diligence for them.
Yeah, I think they have to bring it back around to Moriarty. They named him. I think it makes sense. Let's get him involved in the BCC. I actually thought Brock Anderson looked a little bit better than I've seen him in the past. He's still not great.
Yeah, he's still not great, but he's
looking better and better each week. I'm not calling him the enforcer yet, but he's building himself back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dante he's part of the Fly team.
Was he just thrown into this match, or did his brother get injured that I didn't realize?
I don't know. And that's where, like, Moriarty and Anderson, okay, they might not go together, but they're at least...
They've teamed together.
Yeah.
They've done it before. It's the Nightmare faction.
Why didn't you at least, like, throw Aaron Solo into this? Or, like, somebody... Solo may be hurt because he hasn't been doing anything in forever. But somebody on that caliber... or just grab an IWC person that, clearly we knew who was winning this match from when they came in until they all did. By the way, the ending, not the official finisher, but the ending when they were all just beating the Christ out of these.
Crap out of them?
Yeah. Oh my God. Perfect. Perfect.
Well, that's how it needed to end.
It did.
For them.
They should have all like tapped out with their heads or something to say I quit to end it like this, because man, that might be my next hoodie. The one that Moxley wears, that might be my next hoodie.
Was good.
Yeah.
That one was good.
Yeah. So we do get the major announcement as we're bouncing around. That AEW and New Japan are coming together. And essentially this is to set up Jay White against whom? Is that going to be is that going to be your main event? Is Jay White have to be in the main event of this?
I think so.
I do too.
And I'm gonna say it. I think Mr. Omega's coming back, and I think it's happening by Double or Nothing. I think we're on the timeline.
I think he comes back at this.
Maybe as the fight, because the Undisputed Elite's falling apart by Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
It just feels that way. The Bucks don't want to be with Cole and Red Dragon. It just feels like it's shifting that way. Omega's got to come back, and I think you get Jay White and Omega. I don't think did they have a blow-off match?
I don't know. I don't think.
So I think it lines up perfectly for that to be the main event. At Forbidden Door. Or are you thinking Double or Nothing?
No, I thought with the whole tie-in that maybe the Bullet Elite Super Kick Club is all going to be in the main event at the New Japan AEW thing. And then that's where Kenny comes back and screws over the Super Elite Bullet Club era. Because they change their goddamn name every week. I really don't know what Adam Cole's, because he's the leader right now, fucking group name is. It changes every week. I think that's where it happens. And then we get the build-up of Cole and Omega. We get Bucks, and like the following couple weeks is going to be me choking. A lot of this New Japan resignation, re-engurge, I don't know, words are just rough today. That you get a lot of Bucks, Red Dragon, Cole, after this New Japan thing. Maybe Omega comes back soon at Double or Nothing, and he stirs the pot and screws people over at New Japan.
Well, here's where I'm at. Here's where my thought process is for that. They specifically mentioned Bullet Club.
Right.
Omega get kicked out. I mean, technically, Cole did too, but I don't think that was by Switchblade here. So, do you think Bullet Club's coming out, they do their big thing, but there's a confrontation, and they come out, you see Omega show up, Gorillas of Destiny just got kicked out not too long ago, GOD, do they come out with Omega? Is there a way, or is there an attack on the Bullet Club at this Forbidden Door pay-per-view?
I don't know.
But can you get enough members to do that? Is the next question. Where does it go? Because that's where I think the Bucks split prior to that Forbidden Door. I think you go into it with Adam Cole, Red Dragon, Jay White on one side. You could see the Bucks, and I can't remember who else is in the Bullet Club, but then you see the Bucks, maybe Gorillas of Destiny. Then you see Omega show up, and that's their ringer, and they just do an all-out attack on them. Does that happen? I don't know. I'm fantasy booking here, but I'm trying to play the pieces here. It was Bullet Club is very much a part of New Japan.
Right.
I felt like it was not an odd placement, but a very pointed placement to mention the Bullet Club in that promo
Yeah.
to announce this pay-per-view.
I
So I feel like there's that dissension's happening, and we're getting to that point. And there's a collision coming.
the announcement of this pay-per-view, Jenks, does it pull away from Double or Nothing, which is essentially a month before?
No, because
That was a hard no, too. So, all right.
I'm hard knowing here, but here's why. I think Double or Nothing is its own pay-per-view. I think it does set up some things that happen in Forbidden Door, like the Bucks separating from the pack. I think that happens maybe at Double or Nothing or before Double or Nothing, because I feel like we're getting Bucks Red Dragon at Double or Nothing. It just has that feeling.
Do we get a lot of run-ins or a lot of collusion at Double or Nothing from New Japan people? Because let's call it what it is. I mean, to have New Japan people come over, they're not coming over, I wouldn't think, for one night in Chicago. They're going to get 30-day visas or whatever to kind of intermingle and cause chaos at AEW. That's essentially, I'm like, I know Double or Nothing will have a great lower card to build up to the main event, but the main event then is going to have something that makes you, if you're just a random wrestling fan, blow up and say, holy shit, this is what's going to happen at the next pay-per-view. And then you just leak a little bit more and more and more for that whole month. I don't want it to be, get set, an NWO, WCW type of clash.
Right.
And then NWO just takes over. I don't want New Japan winning. I don't.
Right.
You know, that's just because that's me. I don't want to see that again.
I feel like it's going to be more. I think that it's a showcase pay-per-view.
Okay.
Hey, here's our top guy versus top guy. I think where you see the takeover, that real tension is Bullet Club versus whoever, right? And the other fact is, and now as you're speaking, the one thing that came up to me is you mentioned the main event. The main event for Double or Nothing is looking like Punk and Page.
Right.
How do you transition that into something that goes into New Japan unless it's like Jay White's challenging for the title, the AEW title at Forbidden Door, which is a possibility and could be the place where you mentioned his name, Omega shows up. Because I think you mentioned that maybe Omega shows up, or maybe you thought about Omega showing up at Forbidden Door. Right?
Right.
So maybe that's how you get to that place of Omega comes out and screws over Jay White.
See?
Stirring
the pot.
You're stirring the pot, and I do like that possibility.
So, which essentially, to me then, even though it's Chicago, well, no, Chicago is where New Japan's held.
Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
I think it's Vegas for the other one.
So Punk can lose, which I essentially think, and we'll make predictions when we get to it. It could change my mind by then. Punk loses, because then you have Hangman, Jay White, have a little bit of history.
Yeah.
That could lead into that for the main event of New Japan, and then Kenny comes back after whomever wins it. Now Kenny's back in the pitch. I mean, he could screw Jay, he could screw Hangman, because as of right now, Jenks, this isn't Punk's time yet in AEW to have the title, so I don't want him to. I don't want him in the picture yet.
Yeah, and my thought, Mark, is if Kenny comes back at Forbidden Door screwing over Jay White, they made it a point for the Young Bucks to bring up it was Jay White that kicked Kenny Omega out. Or it was Jay White that attacked Kenny Omega and got him out of the Bullet Club.
I'm just stirring the pot.
Yeah, I know you're stirring the pot, and I agree with you, and I'm just answering off of that because we're doing what we do best. We bounce off of each other here. And I just think it's that long-term booking that AEW's known for.
And that's long fucking term. That's really long term.
Really long term.
Yeah. All right. Transitioning away from that. Why are Sammy and Ty now getting booed? They took over Cody and Brandy. They essentially took over, and we'll wrap back around. Last week, he got the TNT championship back from Scorpio Sky, which I think it was a disservice to Sky. It wasn't a great title run. He didn't do anything with it. He had Lambert around him way too long. You can have your thoughts as well, but I just think all they did was like, oh shit, we lost Brandy and Cody, who essentially maybe that's who they were setting up. And we said this from get-go. Brandy Page were going to be the mixed tag match. They just said, okay, Cody and Ty, you're now Brandy and Page. I mean, you're now Brandy and Cody. You need to get heat on you. I don't have any heat on them. They're young. They're both sexy as hell.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. Why do people hate them for that?
Jealousy? I don't know. Literally, I don't know what the hate, the boos are coming from for this.
Yeah.
I guess some of their actions can be considered a little douchey if you want.
For taking sexy title pictures with a title, you know what I mean? I'd do that. And I'm not sexy.
Neither am I. But yeah, I think that's just where it's coming from. I don't have any other thought process around it because it doesn't make any sense to me. Like 2 weeks ago, everybody loved Sammy. Nobody had a problem with Ty.
No.
And now all of a sudden we do. I don't get it. I don't know. Mark, I have no idea.
And did the title need to switch hands to have this mixed tag match? Because that makes no sense.
Yeah, maybe that's where the heat's coming from here. Let's be honest. Maybe people were like, okay, Scorpio Sky, they're going to get Sammy out of the title picture. They're going to have the fight off with Paige and that. But now Sammy's got the title back. Well, what was the point of that? What was the point of putting it on Scorpio? Because I think you also do disservice to Wardlow's laws.
Yeah.
A little bit. Because you just automatically took it off and gave it back to Sammy. This is the one thing that kind of upsets me about AEW is they're playing the hot potato with the TNT title.
Yes.
And I don't think they need to do that. Now, granted, am I looking forward to the ladder match next week? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be phenomenal. But
I don't think there's a finish to it.
I don't think so either.
And we didn't talk about that at all. So that's pretty awesome that we both, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's shenanigans afoot, but I don't know. I'm kind of baffled by this whole thing, if you can't tell.
I am too. I really am. I don't understand it. I love both of them. I love Sky. I love Sammy. I love Paige. I love Ty. Can't we all just get along?
Yes, exactly.
Get rid of Huskus and Lambert.
That's it too.
Where else am I? Oh, Danielle Kamela. Poor girl. Poor girl. And it's not just because she lost to Britt. She could have came out with Jesus beside her side, like Oprah giving people money away. She was not getting any love. Nothing.
She was behind the 8 ball as soon as that started.
Yeah.
And then Britt, I don't know what Britt had to rub salt in the wound by coming out with Najee Harris and another Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean,
they were so excited to be there. They were. Najee was crazy.
Najee was losing his mind. I was so happy to see that. But yeah, just rubbing salt in the wound. You might as well put Danielle in. I don't even know what that was like. Walking behind enemy line.
Yeah.
It was just an unfair advantage. Man.
I know it was in Pittsburgh. Okay? I know it was in Pittsburgh. And we're getting a little bit... Reba Rebel wasn't there. Hater didn't come out. Was this the switch? Was this the face turn of Brett? Because she mentioned Jade. She mentioned other people that a month ago, she wouldn't have even had them in her mouth.
Yep, she was name checking.
Yeah.
It may have been. What a turn going right into the Owen Hart Classic and the Owen Hart tournament. Also, not to go too much off topic here, but we just got solidified that this is a major deal with an AEW.
Yeah.
How many former champions, Sheeta, Britt, all of these, Tony Storm, all of these high-profile upper card people are in this tournament match.
Yeah, we predicted that maybe it was going to be the next Rising Star tournament.
Exactly.
Thinking somebody's going to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's only room for a Cinderella story, but right now, the way they're stacking it, there's no Cinderellas. It's anybody's tournament.
Yeah. We only know one match, too, so far in the tournament.
Yeah, we only know Hayter and Storm.
Yeah, which I'm excited for. Like, I wish it would say, we're just going to make this a one-night tournament. And go with it. I really do.
I wish they would. Yeah.
I really wish they would. Sell it on Fight, sell it on anything for $50. Cool, let's buy it.
Yeah.
Cool, let's go.
I would be fine if they did Double or Nothing that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you as excited for the men's, though?
I'm excited for one match for the qualifier.
See, there you go. See how I spun that for you?
I mean, the men's have some good people, but they're mostly mid-carders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch it with some enthusiasm, but it's not as big as the women's one.
Yeah. In the match is Dax against Cash.
That they blatantly skipped over and disrespected.
Yeah.
Of course.
And we have this match. What?
Yeah. Wait, what? Well, I mean, let's give Excalibur some credit. He put on his best auctioneer voice and scanned through 95 matches in a matter of 30 seconds.
He did.
But as soon as I saw this, I rewound, because I was not watching live. I rewound and said, what just happened here? And then they brought it back up in the main event, too. And I'm like, Cash, Dax, what? And now we found out it was their idea, and they had to fight for that with Tony Khan.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect if we're going to have shenanigans. Like, we're going to get a good 15 to 20 minute match. All right?
Yeah.
Good to great.
Yep.
I'm worried about the finish. That neither is going to qualify.
See,
that's my downfall.
I guess who would cause the finish? Because I'm expecting Ciampa Gargano level from the Cruiserweight Classic. I think they have a finish. I don't think it deters from their friendship. It's just two guys going after their own heart tournament. I feel like I already know who's winning the match. But I don't think it's shenanigans, Phil. But who would you think would cause the shenanigans?
I don't know. I to hold me a gun, I'd have to lose my life because I don't know.
Right.
But I just see that this is too much of a match that we wanted. And we have to build them up. Because are you going to keep one of them off of the pay-per-view if it starts at the pay-per-view or ends at the pay-per-view? Or like I know one can come out with the other in the corner. I just think like FTR is too big of a tag team to keep off of, a huge feud that you could get rolling.
Well, I think they could still do that potentially there, Mark, because if you think about it, Dax has only got to fight in 2 matches. Let's say it's Dax that wins. Or Cash. Whoever wins only has 2 matches to get to the tournament finals, which I think is just on Double or Nothing.
Who do you think is winning, by the way?
I think it's Dax.
I do too.
Because I don't think, so nothing against Cash. I think he's a great wrestler. Dax has just had the singles matches these past couple months that have been good, very good, if not great.
And it has it
really great.
Let me start it again. Has it because Cash had that injury?
Yeah. Because I feel like Cash has been more limited. Well, not limited as much, but he's not doing more of the singles things.
Yeah.
Because he can only do the tag matches now. Yeah. And maybe for Cash, maybe we're going to see at the end of this year, after this run of FTR, Cash has to retire. and he goes to the corner man of Dax, and Dax becomes a singles wrestler. We could see that maybe at the end of this year.
Do you believe that, sorry to throw this in real quick, do you believe that WWE has actually called them and they want him back? Because that was out there this week as well.
I think the conversation happened.
And I believe that they said, fuck yourself.
Yeah. Now, I know Dax said in an interview, I don't know how long ago, that if the money was right and the circumstances were right, they'd go back. But I do believe you in saying they just told him no.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. This is not what we want.
Yeah. I'm not saying in 5 years.
No,
something
just
like
they
that.
don't want it.
Yeah, not right now.
They're getting fulfilled what they want now, and I feel like that injury last year has put Cash in a time is coming to an end scenario for him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, let's get it to the final sunset. This could be his final singles match of his career next week.
Possibly. I'm excited for it. This is a great week that they have set up for the show, and we haven't talked about the main event yet, but this is a great week that they have set up for the show. So I'm glad that we did like a recap this week of everything, and we'll deep dive next week into matches. It's gonna be AEW heavy. Let's not lie. It's gonna be very AEW heavy.
Honest about it.
On to the main event here. Andrade against Darby in a coffin match. I didn't really care for it. It wasn't that there was too much other stuff going on. I loved when Darby and Andrade were working together.
Yeah.
But there was just so much busyness that I could have done without.
Right, that was the same thought I had. Because so my one takeaway, the big note that I made was they've done the fight in the crowd moment so much between these two feuds and these two factions, or whatever you want to call them. It just deterred from the whole thing. And then they followed the entire action. They followed Sting making short work of
everybody
and everyone. Was it a great Sting reveal? I mean, Sting putting on a Sting mask again. It's fun. It's fun to nostalgia act. But he just disposed of everybody again, dove off 63-year-old diving off of an entranceway is ridiculous, but it happened again. But I think it just took away from the entire match, and I just wasn't as invested in it that I wanted to be.
Yes, exactly. And we just saw Sting do that a month ago. Put that in your pocket for, All Out, All In, or, Revolution again or something.
Special occasions.
Yeah, don't give that away on free TV. And they essentially are like, this is what you missed if you didn't watch Revolution last. Yeah, this is what you missed. Yeah. Sting did this. Wasn't this high? He kind of just fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed by it whatsoever.
Good. I'm glad you are on the same page. Rampage, on the other hand, I wasn't really invested. I will take the heat in Cole and Ishii. I have no idea why. It was great. I just wasn't invested because I knew something was happening.
Yeah, and I think the other part of that is I think we both knew Ishii was nowhere near going to win this thing.
Right.
So there was just it was no surprise, and maybe that took me out of the match a little bit because I knew Ishii wasn't going to win. So why am I going to invest myself in it?
Yeah, and this isn't from. I had friends there. Friends told me, "You wait till you watch Rampage. It's really awesome. This, that, and the other thing. Things happen." I'm like, "Shut up! I will watch it Friday night. This, that, and the other thing." I think maybe Switchblade did need to come out here. He was just, and it's clear because contracts and he's in the same building, this, that, and the other thing. To do it here, it makes sense. As a wrestling fan, I think he comes out next week again and screws somebody over. You just had the announcement. So for people in Pittsburgh, you have the announcement, you have Switchblade screwing somebody over, same night. That's too fast to start that kickoff.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. I agree. I mean, it's. Are we going? So here's the other thing. Now that you've said that, now I'm thinking about this even further. Are we going to get a bunch of shenanigans throughout this tournament that gets cold to the finals?
Yes. Yes.
Flip side, are we getting O'Reilly Cole in the finals?
I'd be all right with it.
I would be too.
But it's NXT. So are they chasing NXT now?
No, because I feel like, again, we know what WWE does with things, and you can argue right around that time. That's when that started to switch a little bit more to Vince's style. You're going to see Cole versus O'Reilly, and basically it becomes, this is what we could have did, but they didn't let us do it.
Oh, touche. Yeah, no, you're right. It'll be blown out of, I mean, in a good way, blown up to their potentials and everything. Yeah. I don't. Damn it! Did you just give the finals away?
Maybe.
I didn't even think of that.
Well,
they are going to meet in the tournament without a doubt. Now I forgot about. I almost forgot that Riley got in, but yeah, you're right.
We didn't even talk about that match. We didn't talk about Jungle Boy O'Reilly, which I was shocked that O'Reilly won, to be honest.
Well, it's again, tag team champions.
Agreed. I agree, but I think if he's a pillar, you're going to put him in your tournament. But again, to your point, I think they could have made him lose in like the quarterfinals against, or like the semis against Adam Cole. You know, still give Jungle Boy a little bit of a push, and then he has to defend the titles at Double or Nothing or something. I don't know, but
and have the titles off of them by then. Which at some point I don't know if it's they're still loved. They're still probably selling tons of shit and everything. I'm ready for, and they're not called Jurassic Express anymore, but I'm ready for Jurassic Express, anybody now, to have a better title reign, because I still don't think this was a great title reign for them.
It didn't hit on all. It didn't hit on all cylinders, and I feel like the reason for that is there was probably, I don't know if they were supposed to win it, to be honest. I still don't know if they were supposed to win it that night.
I don't think they were. Yeah,
but injury necessitates change. So,
but you've had time to rebook something now.
But do you have the team in place besides Red Dragon and the Young Bucks?
Yeah,
to do that.
Yeah, you do. It's called fucking Santana and Ortiz. They've been in place for about 5 years. I'm still waving that flag.
Listen, you can wave that flag all you want, but they're dealing with the Jackass Society right now.
I know. Speaking of which, Jericho's not allowed in.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, that sucks for him. He's not allowed in the building during the Kingston Garcia match. Nobody was.
Archer against Serpentico. That was just to remind everybody that Archer is a monster. Yeah. Again, it did nothing for me. Garcia and Kingston was a good match. And I can only say good. There was some spots that I knew you had to, first and foremost, give a win to Kingston. You had to. They have been beaten down so much. You're like, well, why do I want to invest in these guys if they can't even win a singles match?
That where everybody's barred from ringside.
Right. Yeah. And I still think they need help. When do we get the help? I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I still think it's going to be a War Games match, Blood of Gods, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I do too.
At some point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because Jericho loves those. He's been in every one of these, and I mean nonsensical, but I love them. Nonsensical matches, War Games, and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
The Stadium Stampedes. Yeah, he's got to be involved in them because they actually fit his style for his age right now. It's just go out and do your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked the Jade and Shafir match. I really did. Even with, Julia Lynn, a.k.a. the old dime piece, throwing popcorn every time Shafir was outside in the baddies.
Yeah.
I like this. And for a moment, I thought, are they really gonna? That's okay if they do, because this can be that mid-card feud that Jade has been needing. And then they don't.
The match was great. It was good. It was a good match. I just never thought Shafir was winning this. So it kind of took me out of it a little bit. I just couldn't buy into. I wasn't hooked.
So
even after her display, what was it on Dynamite a couple weeks ago, last week? After that match, I'm like, I mean, she's on an undefeated streak, but it just never. It never felt like it was going to happen. Yeah, it wasn't resonating.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get you. I just again, same thing as I said about Roman. Jade's just going to carry this for a while. And we've said this. Jade's going to carry it for a while, continue to carry it. Does the Owen Hart winner now become the first person to beat Jade? So I've essentially given you my winner. Because she doesn't need that title anymore. And that's what we want to see.
I mean, that would be the logical pick for it.
Yeah.
Does it happen?
She trademarked DMD, by the way, today. Or a couple days ago.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. She trademarked DMD.
That was smart.
Yeah. And I hope the finger as well. Because can you trademark movements, too? Or just...
You might be able to.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what? I don't think you can, because either if you could, I don't think the Bullet Club could have gotten away with Too Sweet.
Touche. Yep.
So
yeah, that's a good point. But I think that's the path that we got. Yeah. I mean, we're about a month and a half away from seeing that to start.
Yeah. Look at that. Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers. Long-term spoilers that Tony Khan copies from us.
Yep, exactly. So hope you wrote them all down. We'll expect our checks in the mail.
Yeah.
Also, I need to go back. We did talk about it. Danhausen has Hook's attention now.
He does. Does he? He does.
He might. He does. He does. He spoke.
He did.
Hook speaks.
He did speak.
He did. So Hook's going to destroy Danhausen, and I couldn't be more happy to see it.
When is Danhausen going to get his first... I don't know if he's had anything on Dark yet. Again, because I don't know.
I think Hook's his first match.
So are we going to get the whole... He's got to be first out then. He's got to... Because we got to get the whole... For anybody that has not seen Danhausen come out, his entrance is a spectacle.
Yeah.
So he's got to be first out, and then Hook's got to like Road Warrior into the ring and just fucking decimate him.
Yep.
Because he's got to get his whole glitz and glory, because that's essentially his character. If Hook's in the ring first, Danhausen will not be able to finish before Hook attacks.
Exactly.
And this match isn't lasting but 30 seconds. The entrances will be longer.
They will definitely be longer. I don't know why I'm so excited for this match, even though I know it's going to be a complete and utter demolition. I just want to see it. I think I'm excited for Danhausen to actually wrestle.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, he's legitimately been on the shelf, and I think he's actually getting mended back up and everything.
Yeah, I think he's at a point where he can actually do it now. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because my next was going to be a little bit of a change of a topic, but staying in the same topic.
That's fair. And I just want to, recovering from injury, let's see him get out there. Yes, it's going to be a squash, but yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Even though it's return from injury, I like that it Hook's his first opponent.
Agreed.
Because they're shoot best friends, at least in the locker room.
Yeah.
And maybe that's playing into it too. I don't know.
So staying with Hook and Taz and the FT, when are we going to do anything with that? Like, we thought that Starks was maybe leaving and maybe Hook would take it off of Starks, or we don't know anything about that. I know it's not a real title, but it's brought up a lot, so it's a title. What are we going to do? Like, Taz's group is just not doing anything with Keith Lee and Swerve, and it's not panning out, I don't think.
Is it just me, and maybe it's just me, But they did that whole segment after in New Orleans after Dynamite went off the air with bringing Starks out with the BCC, getting him that hometown pop type thing. Does Starks start to turn heel here, or turn face? And then we see the cracks with Taz start to happen, and that's where the FTW title gets slipped off and put on the hook.
I hope so.
Because I think that's where it's going here. By the way, props. That was a great... I can't believe I laughed at how much Regal sold the curse from Danhausen in that segment.
I know. If you have not checked that out,
you have to check that out.
It was
ridiculous.
Paralyzed.
It just reminded me of old Regal. Everything in early 2000s Regal. But, yeah, so I feel like maybe we're getting that face turn for Starks. And this is where the cracks start. I'm not going to say it's going to happen by the time Double or Nothing comes around, but I think the ball starts rolling. Or maybe it does, and maybe we get an FTW title match between Hook and Starks at Double or Nothing.
A month and a half, a lot can happen. I mean...
So that's what I'm thinking. That's kind of where my head went to. We got a lot of time.
Yeah, we could probably name a lot of matches. We're not going to right now, but we could probably name a lot of matches that are going to happen on Double or Nothing. But a lot of high caliber matches. We need that opening matches that we don't have. Yeah. We really don't have opening matches right now.
Exactly.
So the last couple months of AEW, well, weeks, whatever, since Revolution, they're building all their big stuff, which is great. Because big, long storytelling is one of my favorite things in professional wrestling. We need some generic stuff thrown in there. I mean, we're essentially a month away now, right? About. Yeah. We need something to sink our teeth into.
Yeah. Well, they're masters of the 2-week build now.
They are. So. Yeah, they are. We didn't know we wanted half of this shit that we got in the last year. We're like, oh my God, this is going to be the barn burner match. And it is. And we only had a week and a half build up.
Perfect example. Punk and Kingston.
Yeah. Perfect example. I was hoping you were going with that one because that's the one I was thinking of. That's the
one I always default to.
Yeah. I got nothing else. I'm excited. This was a nice little pause for us and a recap for us. Next week we'll dive into complete weekly wrestling again, and I think, Jenks, we talked about it before, I think before Double or Nothing, we do a really super fast, this is what happened in wrestling, and then we make sure that we both watch a pay-per-view and talk about an old school pay-per-view. How's your Nitros coming, by the way?
Coming good. I am just past World War III.
Wow.
95. So Savage just won the title. Hogan's pissed. Good times all by all.
I want to leave it up to you then, and I don't want to make you jump so much farther or anything, but is there a pay-per-view that in 2 weeks that you want to tell everybody that they should watch? And maybe I'll go back and watch it, and then we'll take notes and really talk about the matches?
So WCW, it depends on how far I get WCW wise. I know, the default coming up, but it's about, 8 months out is Bash at the Beach. So I think that's a little too far out for 2 weeks. So I'm thinking maybe Super Brawl might be the next big one to come up there.
What is it, Super Brawl 95?
96 it would be. Because we're getting right to the turn of the year.
Okay.
World War III was end of November, so we're getting right to the turn of the year here. So and that's actually Starrcade's coming up, so maybe I could get to Starrcade. Let's jump back here because I forgot about Starrcade. So maybe Starrcade might be more reasonable here. That's about a month out. Which pay-per-views on a Wednesday completely threw me for a loop.
Yeah, right.
That was something weird.
Yeah. Tried going to school on Thursday after pay-per-views.
Right.
You didn't, by the way. I had a great mother that said he was sick this morning, so I only brought him in at 11.
That's just the way we had to do.
Yeah.
Although I'm looking at this now, Starrcade 95, I did not. Oh, this was a full Bobby Heenan New Japan type thing going on here. So we're going to see a lot of New Japan versus WCW in this pay-per-view card.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be the build up here. Maybe Starrcade 95. That's definitely the next pay-per-view. I think we can definitely get to that in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And have that conversation. So, and that's New Japan versus WCW. So that'll be an interesting one.
That is good, because this will be our first one to do these in a while. And then essentially, we can tie things in to loop with it. See, you didn't know this, but it was a great combination segue of how what they did back then to what could possibly be done changing it, and we could pinpoint wrestlers today into maybe a little bit this way, that way thing, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right. So tentatively, folks, in 2 weeks, we're going to do Starrcade 95. Jenks will give us an update next week where he is. If we have to push it back a week, I think we should do Starrcade 95. If we have to push it back on our end a week, we'll let you know next week to make sure you watch it on the cock, and you'll be able to listen. But again, we'll fill you in more next week if it's going to be Starrcade 95. I'm holding Jenks to that. It's just a win if we're going to watch it sometime next week or the following week.
Yeah, my thought process is I'm hopefully going to be able to get to it maybe the tail end of this upcoming week or into early next week. So I don't think we'll have to push it.
Good deal. That's what I like to hear. Because we're at that stutter stable right now. New words all day, by the way.
Yeah, maybe we name this about the source or something like that.
Yeah.
We learned new words over the past 2 weeks.
We have. All right, that's enough. Let's wrap this up. Jenks, I love you. I hope you play some wrestling today. Enjoy the rest of your day with your lady friend, and don't get too mulchy if you start.
Oh, I will. I'm going to get mulchy enough. Let's just go there.
You're going to get mulchy. Yeah, cut
I'm
that
gonna
grass.
Get mulchy.
Cut the grass.
With a weed whacker.
All right, it's definitely gone downhill from there. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do good things.
You're a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.